Hey everybody, I'm back here with another episode of Herd Main's Garage. I thought I would do a quick video on the overview of this car. Taking a break on the S10, and I'm going to work on this thing. First off, I got a full-time job with a pretty bad work schedule. So this is not a job for me, obviously, but these vehicles are just my personal projects. And I just work on them when I get time. You know, sometimes you have to just do what you can do. It's easy to get frustrated and discouraged and things on different projects, but you just got to keep hacking away at it. You know, if you get an hour or a half hour or something before after work or something, or you know, there's going to be times you don't get to touch stuff for weeks, but you know, a half hour and an hour at a time is how you get this stuff done. And I'm not saying I'm the best, you know. I have times it's just hard to get back out here, and for me, like with body work and stuff, it's, you know, I got to get in a certain mode to do body work. Mechanical work, not a big deal, but like with body work and things, I just gotta take a little time to get, you know, my mind into it. So I guess I'll digress on all of that. So yeah, what you see here, there's a bunch of crap laying around, but what I do to get stuff done, my garage is pretty much dedicated to me. I don't have anybody in and out of here. When I leave, I lock it and nobody else is in here. So what I will do is I'll generally leave my tools out on what I'm currently doing. So obviously I'm working on door jamb area right now with this particular car, actually both door jambs, so that's what I'm using. So I just leave it, helps a little bit. And then I'll get a piece of paper and I'll write down what you know, where I'm at with the car in case I get busy with work or whatever, life, family, whatever. I just don't get in here to do it. Looking for my notebook. I got a notepad that I keep with me, and I write all my ideas and plan everything out. It must be in my car. So apparently I still have weightlifting gloves on. Anyway, this is a 1981 Chevy Camaro. It is not a Z28 or anything fancy. It's just the base model. They labeled them as pretty much just a coupe. This was like a V6 originally. I got it as a roller, a pretty rough roller, and when I bought it. So I put a full quarter panel in here from the cell panel down all the way into the dripper on the back. Wheelhouse, trunk extension, all that's all new. The front end's all different. It's got a 2-inch metal cowl hood on it. These are aftermarket fenders that obviously everything aftermarket doesn't fit. So I ended up having to split like this fender all the way up the side in half to stretch the metal to get it to fit the front end, the hood, and etc. So a lot of metal work with this car that, you know, you never expect this kind of stuff, but it is what it is. You know, here's the deal. You got to do what you got to do to get it done. It takes what it takes, you know. You just got to do it. That's the sad reality. This front end, and if you know these cars, they had a, it was like a rubber front end, and you know, after years, they would sag and give way, and you'd have bird baths in the front, and you know, you couldn't really body work the front end because, you know, it was flexible rubber stuff. So I ended up putting a fiberglass piece on it. It's from Stanger. I had to do quite a bit of body work to it to work it in, but all in all, it did turn out okay. The Fender Extensions here, those are bolt on from the factory. I ended up just welding the extensions on. So I welded those solid. Just makes it a lot cleaner in my opinion. They fit better. I should have welded this filler panel here on, but I didn't. But whatever. So this thing's in primer. I shot it with polyester primer. Let's see what it's Evercoat. Let's see what we got here. It's pretty good stuff. It is Evercoat Featherfill G2. So that's what that coat of primer is. So that's a first stage of primer, and I blocked it down. And obviously, you find little things you got to mess with. So getting ready to do a second coat of primer, and it should be the final block sand on it before I paint the car. More of an overview. This is a small block Chevy. It's bored 40 thousandths. It's a 350 bored 40 thousandths. Not a lot special going on with it. It's got AFR heads on it. 205 intake valves, I believe. Anyway, they're a good set of heads. Went through the bottom end on it. It's got, it's got headers on it. It's got a Wind 177 supercharger on it. Which, I bought a lot of this stuff used, guys. It's just the way it goes. It's got a 750 Edelbrock carburetor that I, jetted to tune to the vehicle. So I'm going to run it on. This is going to be about 5-6 pounds of boost. I'm going to run it at 5-6 pounds for a while, and I got a couple other pulleys that I got with the blower, but I got one that'll put it up to about 8.5 pounds, and then another one goes about 10 or 11, which if I go to 10 or 11, I'll be, spraying a little methanol or something to it, but I don't know. Probably hold around 8-9 pounds or so. It's got a Tremec TKO 5-speed in it. So, got the overdrive. The wheels, there's the front wheels for it. It's those Boss 338s, 18-inch. I think they're 8 in the front and 9.5 in the rear. Love these wheels the way it sits. I got the Hotchkiss springs on the back and the front, so it's about I think it's a 2-inch drop in the back, I believe, and a 1 in the front. No? Maybe 1 in the front, 2 in the... It might have been 1 in the back, 2 in the front, because these cars sit about 1 inch lower in the rear factory. So anyway, either way, it's leveled out. It's been a while since I've done that. So, frame's tied. Obviously, there's a lot of sand and dust all over it, but this is all painted black, and I shaved the firewall down. I'm going to put the wiper motor underneath of this fender here. I got the hole cut and everything. Just need to build the transmission rod to actuate the wipers, and that'll probably be a thing to where I probably won't do it or have wipers, but it's a thought that counts, right? I shaved the firewall flat, so it's not going to have a heater, at least for now. I'll probably do that later. So other than that, it's a pretty solid car. The back valence that rusts to death on these, I replaced all that stuff. This is the Stanger fiberglass rear end or bumper. It's not a bad piece. I did have to do too much work to it to get it to fit. I bought the front and the rear end, and they sat here for a while, too long before I got to doing it. And would you know it, when I figured that I had issues with the rear bumper, it was too late for me to send it back. Stuff happens. I'm saying Stinger sucks or anything. The front end was pretty good, but I had to cut almost like a piece of wood, you know, just relief cut it all the way down through so I can, basically I had to bend the bumper cover to have that bow in it like it does from the factory, because when I received this piece, it was straight across, and then with the tail lights, they did not look right. So a lot of work, a lot of fiberglass work on this piece just to get it to fit. It's done now, so whatever, but it was pretty painful while trying to fix a, $200-300 bumper that don't fit. You know how it goes. So anyway, you know, I'm just rambling and going out of order, no sense to what I'm saying here. This is a steel cowl hood, like an AMD cowl hood. Pretty nice piece, not too bad. I cut a hole in it. That's just taped off for, you know, painting and priming or whatever. But I cut a hole in it. And the bottom of that carburetor with that blower sticks right up to the, you know, top of that 2-inch cowl hood. So the 2-inch cowl hood works pretty nice. And then I got this old school blower scoop I'm going to put on it, so it'll look pretty good sticking out of the hood there. So that's kind of what's happening with that. But it's got the 10 bolt 8.5 inch, you know, rear end like they came with. It's got I put a 373 gear in it. Did the 4-wheel disc brake conversion, worked out pretty decent. Obviously put a drive shaft together for the trans to fit the Tremec 5-speed. I did not buy the kit. You know, the kits are what? You know what? I don't know, $4 or something. Put a TKO in these things, you know, with the cross member, drive shaft, bell housing, clutch, you know, everything. I think it even comes with a tunnel, you know, a drive shaft tunnel piece, and a special shifter, which this is just a factory old Tremec shifter. This is not the F-body shifter. So what I did is I just bought this off eBay. It was a factory, it was a warranty takeout. The place, you know, they're a dealer. They put this trans in a car and they ran it not even 1,000 miles and it was leaking trans fluid. Well, the issue was it had a porous case. It was leaking through the transmission case. So they did a warranty replacement and then took this brand new transmission and obviously they replaced the case on it and put it up for sale. So I think I ended up getting that for $1,200 shipped, which, you know, these gearboxes were going for what, $2,700, $2,800, $3,200, I can't remember. But pretty much a new trans. And it's got the 0.64 overdrive, so that'd be pretty sweet. And then I ended up, you know, building a drive shaft for it. You know, bought a yoke to fit it. 4-speed, a regular 4-speed bell housing for it. I had some clutch parts to fit the input shaft. I forget the splines on it, fine splines, but anyway, clutch pressure plate, figured that out. Had a 4-speed flywheel. You know, having manual, you know, a couple of these F bodies with the manual parts, you know, so what did I do? Yeah, it's got the old Z-bar in it. It don't have the hydraulic, it's got the Z-bar, factory Z-bar for the clutch. So, you know, it's just stuff that I put together with this. You know, it's got had the pedals and stuff, so. I mean, you know, you take the factory cross member and you can modify it. You can buy one or you can take the regular one, an automatic or whatever, and re-drill the subframe. It's fine. So I basically made my own Tremec little kit, you know, Tremec kit to fit that in there. It's not rocket science. So pretty much on a budget. I know that looks like a snake sometimes when you look at it. It's just weather stripping. All in all, this is a pretty clean car, really clean car. I don't have a rotisserie, but I put it up on jack stands with the front frame out up and everything. I could actually push up and move the shell off of the jack stands. That's how stripped down I had this thing. So it's all painted and whatnot underneath, and it's not going to be a show car. I'm just going to drive it. I just want to do a good job on it and having a good time with it. So it's kind of, I don't know what else to say about the car. You may have seen it in some videos in the background, but that's what it is. A long-term project. You know how this stuff is, so I wish I would have had a lot of this on video when I was doing this car, but you know, it's just the way it goes. So if you got any questions, ask. But I want to try to get back on this pig. And you know what? I'll just tell you real quick where I'm at right now. I painted these door jambs and everything too soon, and I had to do some different adjustments. And well, would you know it? Cracked all my new seam sealer and paint and everything. So yep, had to dig it out and re-seam sealing it. And I got this back down to 400 right now. We're gonna rebase the door jambs. You know, that's just the way it goes sometimes. You know, when you do stupid things. But I'm just gonna get collar in there and probably blend the rest of that. I don't need the base, and then re-clear all of it. Same thing in here, the door jamb area. So I'll probably go ahead and shoot those in. You know, nothing like doing it a couple times before it's right. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share, whatever. You know, this isn't the most exciting channel in the world. Probably because none of my projects currently run. I mean, this runs, but you know, it's not together. This crap box here, it's, you know, I'm still putting the LS in it. I'm just kind of halfway through that. Obviously, there's more videos on that. You know, I'm still kind of working on the turbo kit, but I'm not doing anything with it right now because I want to get this thing close to painting. So, all right, I've rambled enough. So I'll end with a nice view of my picnic table with all of my tools laid all over the place that I probably won't have anywhere to put them up if I try. Okay, thanks. See you later. Bye.